Hey guys, so in today's video, we will see how we can work with fetch APIs in JavaScript. Let's start. We have opened the VS Code and here we have already opened the demo folder here. We will just create the index.html file. So here, let me reduce the size of the sidebar and let's create the boilerplate. So here we have the boilerplate for our web page that we will be creating with this HTML file. So let's keep it fetch API example. Yes. And h1 here we will put fetch API example. Yes. And now if I move it a little bit up, here we will find the option to go live because I have installed the extension that is live server. So here we have live server. So if you install this extension, you will find this go live option for every HTML file. So yes, now what we need to do, we need to first create the static block in which we will be having div.card. This is the card, and inside here we have some static text. Let's say s2.blog heading, and here we have blog1, and after that let's add blog content. So this is the blog content that we have. So this is a simple static card. Okay, and if we see it here, so it is looking like this. Let's write some CSS for this. So here we will write style tag and we will just style it little bit. So here we have the style. We are adding the border radius, a little bit of styling we have just to make card look. So here you can see this is looking like a card. Let's wrap it inside a container, div.container, and here it should be fine. And here it will add the container. It should be display flex wrap. This is what I want. So if I will have multiple cards, so it will just wrap them. Yeah. So now if I duplicate these cards and save it, so you can see we have these cards like this. We should have some margin also side by side. So let's add the margin 0 1 rem. Not added. Okay, I added already here. Let me remove this margin. I think 1 rem should be fine because it will add. Yes, so it is fine. Now it is the designing part is done. Now let's currently all of these blocks are hard coded. We need to make them dynamic. So to make them dynamic, we need an API. From that API, we will get the response and we will render all the response that we are getting from the API to here. So I hope it makes sense. So let's go here and search for JSON placeholder. Inside here, you will get one API. Actually, you can use any kind of API, but according to that API, you need to write the logic. So right now, let's try to go with this one. It has user ID. We wanted title and description for our cards. So we have both the things here. So we can use this API. So this is the API. And if I go back, so it is the get API. So I will explain you what are these get, put, post. We have all these methods here. So I will explain you how these things happen. So right now, let me remove all of these cards. At the bottom, we will just add a script tag. And here what we will do, we will first of all create a function. And this function, we will get posts. And inside here, what we will do, const, we will get all the blocks. Let me move it a little bit downwards. Yes. So here, what I will do, I will just write blocks is equal to await fetch, and this is my API. Here I have the API. Why I put await? So you can see when I'm putting await, it is asking me to add async. Now why is it asking? Because whenever we use any kind of API, so API is a kind of API call is kind of operation which takes some time to execute. because it will go to the server, take the response from there, and that operation will definitely take time. So for that, we need to tell the function that this function may contain the operation which may take time. Okay, so this is the function that is taking time. So against that function, we have to put await like this, and we have to put just before that. So now, whenever this function will run, it will wait for this function, and only then it will start with another lines. Till this line, we should have the response because it waited for this function to execute, and it stored all the data that it got from this API to this variable, right? Hit enter. Now we will create const blog data. Okay, let's accept it. So now whenever we get any response from the server, this is the API, and you can say this is the server where the response we are getting the response from. So whenever we hit any API, its response will be in string format, and we have to see. Let's go to here, and we have to see which kind of response is this. Is this image? Is this video? Is this JSON? Or is this XML? So right now we can see this is JSON format. So we know that the response we are getting from is JSON format, but by default it comes in string format. Okay. So right now in the next line, we will just convert it to JSON so that we can access the data properly. So here we will just try to console this in the console so that we can see what response we are getting from the API. So here we will just call this function. So this function will just call by default. Everything is simple. Let's go to the page now. Right click inspect, and let me show you. Go to console. So here we are getting array, and this is the array that we are getting from the server, and these are the responses from the server. What we will do now, we will just create. Now all the data that we are getting here, we need to put this data inside these cards that we have created here, right? So now block data is an array, so we can apply for loop on an array, right? So we will use block data dot for each, yes, and here we will write the logic. So for an example, here we can select the container, and by default what we will do. So what I will do is I will just get select the container. This is a container, and I will remove everything, whatever is there inside this container. It will remove everything. So right now this is there, it will remove. Let us remove this by ourselves only. Currently this div is empty. So now let's create one more variable. Let blocks HTML. So in this block HTML, every time this loop will run, it will just append the HTML to this block HTML variable. And this is how we will be able to, it will iterate 100 times, and it will append the data to this variable 100 times. Once this loop ends here, we will have the HTML of the blocks ready with 100 cards. And we will just append it to the container like this. Container.innerHTML is equal to blocks card. So now let's go to here. I think, yeah, we can accept it. And here. So if you see here, it will execute 100 times this particular loop because it has 100 items. And inside here, we are just plus and equal to. It means that whatever is there in this inside block, just append this particular content on top of that. And this is how we will just create the DOM of the cards, and we will just append it to the container with this method container.innerHTML. So innerHTML is the method with using which we can just append. So innerHTML is equal to, HTML should be equal to this one. Now let's see, and the element or title, let me see, it is title and it is body. It is body and title, so it should work fine now. Let's go here. So you can see we have all the cards coming dynamically from the API. Let me move it here. Yes. So all the cards are right now dynamic, and we can play around with the CSS. We can make it a little more better. So those things we can do definitely. So, but right now you can see all these cards are coming from directly API. We are calling the API. This is the array that we are getting from the API, and we are just rendering that data to here. So this is how we work with the API. And in some of the next videos, I will explain you about the various methods of API which we can use. So here we use the get method. Whenever we don't define the method, it by default it is get. And if you want to define anything else, so here we can define the method. So I will explain you those methods in some of the next videos. So thank you so much. See you in the next one.